Hello and welcome to next tutorial video. In this session, we're going to learn how to create a new project in Siemens TIA portal and configure the basic hardware required for that project. This is a beginner level video and we'll take you through everything step by step, so no prior experience is necessary. Let us get started. First, open TIA portal. We will begin by creating a new project. Click on Create New Project. Give your project a name. For example, I'll call mine Tutorial Part 1. Choose a local directory to save your project. Note, it's always better to save your project on your local drive. Add a project description if you want. Something like Basic Hardware Setup for Beginners. Click Create. Once the project is created, TIA Portal will guide us through the next steps. We now need to configure a device. You can do this either from the main startup menu, or from the left pane under Devices and Networks, or from the project view, which gives a more detailed layout. For now, stick with the guided approach and click Add New Device. You'll now see a list of PLC families available, such as S71200, S71500, and more. Note, what you see here depends on the version of TIA Portal you have installed. If you're using the basic version, you may only see the S71200 series. With the professional version, you'll have access to the full range like 1200, 1500, 300, and 400. In this tutorial, I'm going to choose a PLC from the S71500 series. Let's select a CPU. I'll choose a CPU with a C in the model name, which stands for compact. A compact PLC already includes built-in digital and analog input non-output modules. Example, I'm selecting CPU 1512 CPN. 1512 is the CPU type. C means compact. PN means it has Profinet communication capability. You'll notice some key identifiers: the article number, hardware part number, the firmware version. Important tip, if you're unsure of your hardware firmware version, always select the oldest version in the list. Older versions are more compatible and can still be downloaded to newer hardware. Avoid selecting a newer firmware unless you're absolutely sure your hardware supports it. Now click Add. You may be asked to activate a license. If you don't have one, you can use the test license valid for 21 days. In my case, it's already activated. Once the PLC is added, it will open the device view. This may take a moment depending on your computer's speed. When the device view loads, zoom in to about 200% or more. This helps you clearly see all the component names, input and output ports, and addresses. Here, you can see that. We have our CPU or PLC, the brain of the system, on the left side, and built-in digital and analog I/O modules. Let's name our PLC. Right-click on the PLC and select Rename. I'll call it Brain. Now, open the device view to begin the configuration. Now that the hardware is loaded, let's look at its structure. If you click on each module, you can see their I/O addresses in the inspector window. For example, if we select Analog Card, you can see 5 analog inputs, 2 analog outputs. Analog input might start at address 0. If we select Digital Card, we can see 8 digital inputs, DI, 8 digital outputs, DQ. Digital inputs might start from byte 10 and go up. These addresses are very important. They define where your sensors and actuators connect. Let's activate clock memory. Click on the CPU, go to Properties, then System and Clock Memory. Enable clock memory. Set the starting byte address to 0. Now, byte 0 will be used for clock pulse memory, which we will use in a later tutorial. If your built-in I/O is not enough, you can add more modules. Let's say we want to add another digital input-output module. You can drag it from the hardware catalog on the right and drop it into an available slot. Once placed, it will automatically assign I/O addresses. This can be viewed by selecting the card and then clicking on the Properties button. You can find the address of the card inside the Input or Output tab. Digital input starting at 110, digital output starting at 80. You can change these addresses if needed. For simplicity, I am going to change input address to 200, output address to 250. This helps keep everything organized for future programming. After configuring the hardware, we need to compile the project. Click Compile at the top. TIA Portal will now check for errors and warnings. You should see no errors or only minimal warnings. That's it. We have successfully created a new project, added a PLC, configured the basic hardware, adjusted I/O addresses and memory, and compiled the setup. In the next video, we'll learn how to add sensors and actuators, use the tag table, and start writing a basic program. If you found this video helpful, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to check the full course playlist for more tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.